Okay, this is a meeting of the Hampton Board of Education. Present for the board is Mary Ellen Donnelly, Russ Moffett, Mark Becker, David Hallback. Oh, Ann Gruenberg is coming on, if she's not already on. Diane Gagnon and Matthew Flagert. Also present are Frank Ola, Superintendent, Sally LaHoo, Business Coordinator, and Sam Roberson, Principal. And Juan Ariel is coming on. We'll let him finish coming on. So we have a full board tonight. 6, 7, 8, 9, a full board. Hello, Juan. I'm assuming Dana's with you.
Yes. Okay, hold on.
Hello, Juan.
How are you?
Good.
Okay. So we'll call to order at, oh wait, I called to order and said who was here. We'll start with audience for citizens and staff. Hearing nothing, we'll move on to correspondence to the board. I don't have any, Dr. Ola, do you?
Yes, I sent you in your packet the auditor's report, the final auditor's report summary sheet. We have the full report. And that's the only piece of correspondence that the board has received since your last meeting.
Okay, so you sent that out to everyone?
No, I sent it to you, and if you want me to, I will send it out to everyone. I didn't know what the distribution would be.
Let's ask, is there anyone who wants a copy of the auditor's report? Mary Ellen would like one.
Okay.
Oh, Kathy
guess I'll-
Donahue would like one.
I'll take one.
Mark
me
would
too.
like one.
Why not?
Russ
Why
would
not?
like one.
Well, I'll just send it to everybody then.
Yeah, David would like one.
Yep. Okay.
Great.
Glad to see you with us, Frank. I'm hoping you're feeling better.
I am. Thank you for asking. Yep.
You look
Not
a lot better.
100%, but better.
Good. Okay, on to approval of the minutes of the May 23rd, 2022 meeting. Do we have a motion?
Motion to accept.
Motion to approve.
Okay, Diane moved and Mary Ellen seconded. Any discussion?
Yeah, I have in item 12, I move to add it to the agenda, not to accept the resignation, which was item 13.
Which was item 13?
Yeah, I think as it's recorded, 12 and 13 are the same with two different people motioning, but in
Oh.
item 12, I said, let's add it to the agenda.
Oh, sorry, Mary Ellen. No, it says in my version, I have it seconded by Diane Gagnon to add the acceptance of the resignation with appreciation of Rebecca. So that was to add the acceptance of the resignation. And then the next one was to accept the appreciation of the resignation. So they are slightly different. And I had wondered that myself, but then I saw that they had the word to add the acceptance in the first one.
Yeah, 12 is additions to the agenda.
Right.
Do you want to just amend it to say to add to the agenda? Is that
No,
okay, Mary?
I think it's okay. Mary Ellen just needs to see it.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, any further discussion? So
Good to me.
I'm sorry, yes, David?
Good to me.
Oh, okay. Anyone else? I have a concern under audience for citizens and staff. The part I have a concern about is under Dana's comment. She criticized the superintendent for slandering Mr. Areola. I went back and listened to Dana's comment, and she never used the word slandering. And I have a lot of trouble with that being here. Because I don't think it's been, because it's in the Board of Ed minutes. And if we just accept it, it sounds like the Board of Ed agrees. And I don't know if they do agree. But it should not say slandering here and not have been said at the meeting.
Do you want me to take the word slandering out?
Yeah, I want to rescind these meetings from the town clerk because
You can't.
I don't think it, yes, we can. We've checked that one out. And I want to replace them with minutes that don't say slandering. What do other board members think?
I kind of agree with you, Rose, because I don't remember that word being used, so that's something that would stick in my mind.
Yeah, I went
Wasn't-
back
Is
and
that a
listened.
motion? Is that a motion?
Ann, that was you?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you wanting to present a motion?
A motion to rescind the minutes from this town clerk?
And replace with,
Well, I guess I can.
Rose,
Yes, Juan.
I'm not positive by law, though. I don't think you can rescind the motion. And I think by Robert's rules, you can't rescind the original motion. You can amend it, but you can't rescind what was already presented.
Okay, that's not what Mr. Hennick says. So I would phrase the motion that
Can I
I,
just ask, you can, I don't know, are we rescinding everything? You need to tell me if you're just gonna take it out so I can restate it tonight at the end. Because I did have that. I did express a concern. I'm sorry I didn't use the word slander. It's certainly what I felt. I'm not, but that's okay, Rose. I didn't go back and check. So if you say slander wasn't there, then I'm not refuting that. But if you're gonna rescind my entire sentiment, I'm just gonna restate that without the word or with the word slander anew tonight. That's all I'm saying, because I have the right to speak.
you have the right to speak. However, we don't include comments from the public in the body of their comments. We don't include from the public for exactly this reason. Anyone could say anything, and then it shows up in the Board of Ed minutes, and people think the Board of Ed agrees. And we don't know that our Board of Ed thinks that our superintendent has slandered anyone. So I would say, even if you do repeat yourself, which I agree, I'm happy for you to do that. The appropriate thing to show up in the minutes is Dana discussed a concern she had with the superintendent. But I would like to rescind the ones with slander, so I'm going to make, can we make one motion in the middle of another motion? I'm not sure we can.
You don't
So
need
I-
amend a motion.
Well, I think what I'd like to do is vote on the motion. And if it goes down, I will present another motion to rescind the other copy. So is there any more comment on the minutes?
So are we voting to take the word slander out? Or are we voting to take everything out?
So thinking about it, Diane, there's a motion on the table already, so I can't make a motion inside a motion. So we're voting on whether or not to accept the minutes as presented, which was your motion.
Right.
Yeah. Not hearing any comment. Let's take the vote.
Now, hang on, I got a question.
Yep.
What part of the minutes are you referring to? What line, what paragraph?
Section 3, audience for citizens and staff, the third line.
could that motion be stated as a motion, just restated for our action? please.
And we have a motion on the table to accept the minutes.
And so you're letting it stand as is.
Well, I don't think I can move inside. I don't think I can make a motion inside the motion. So if,
Right,
the-
so I'm
if-
just asking for clarification
No.
what we're voting on.
yes, Mark,
Why couldn't we just, because we've done it before where if Diane's okay, we could just say as amended by Chairman Rose's comment, and then we could, Dana could really probably almost take out just slandering Mr. Oler for false and thinly allegations. She probably could just leave that with, go right to allegations during Mr. Cruz's presentation, but anyway.
Well, I would go back to audience for citizen. We usually don't give great details on what people say. We say they
Right.
commented on. So it would be that Dana commented on her disappointment with Dr. Ola.
Yeah,
Otherwise, people could come and say all sorts of things that we would then have to put down, and that really doesn't
right.
necessarily reflect the Board of Ed.
Can I withdraw my second? With that?
Yes,
I say, we've already been through this, not changing them, not changing the minutes.
You're on mute.
was that meant for everyone, Juan?
Yeah.
Yes,
It's on
it
you.
was actually, we already went through that like 2 months ago about the minutes themselves. And I think Mark has it right. You can amend them. But I don't think you're, okay, thank you.
You can withdraw a motion.
Yeah, Juan went back to rescinding the minutes from the town clerk. And
Oh,
he
I see.
thinks, yeah. Okay, any further discussion on the acceptance of the minutes? Okay.
We lost our second.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you. We've lost our second. Would anyone like to second it?
I'll
Having-
second.
Okay, Juan seconds. Any further discussion? All right, we'll go through again in the order you show up on my computer. Mary Ellen,
No,
Russ,
No,
Mark,
I think I'm gonna abstain.
Get me ready.
David,
To accept the minutes as is that the motion?
yeah,
No,
Anne,
No,
Diane,
No,
Matthew? Matthew? Whoops, there you go. Matthew, we can't hear you for some reason. I'm sorry, yeah. I don't know why we wouldn't be able to hear you, Matthew. Oh, that was a good idea. Abstain, great. And Juan? Juan, are you going to vote?
I'm abstaining.
Abstain, okay. Yeah, it is a bad connection, Matthew. Okay, so the motion fails with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 noes and 3 abstentions. Matthew, we just are not, we're only getting static from you. I'm sorry, but it was a good idea to put it in chat. I'm going to open my chat and I'll see it. Okay. So now we need a new motion.
Hello? Yeah,
I'm sorry, Matthew, we're getting static from you.
I think, Matthew, you got to get off and then try and get back on again.
Okay, so I'm going to make a motion to rescind the draft minutes sent to the town clerk. Do
I'll
we have,
second, I'll second that.
thank you, Ann. Any discussion?
Rescind the minutes to as what?
So the copy of the minutes that went to the town clerk has a statement in it that Dana said the superintendent committed, a minute, I want to get it right.
That's what I'm reading on the printout I have from today's Sally
Okay.
the Who stuff. Okay, go ahead.
She criticized the superintendent for slandering Mr. Areola with false and thinly veiled allegations.
I'm reading that, yes.
Yeah, so, I have trouble with that.
Yeah.
So that's why I made the motion to take those minutes back from
Yeah.
the town clerk.
Okay.
Any further discussion?
Rose, the only person that can take that motion back is the person who made the motion themselves. So
Take what
that-
motion back?
The one you're trying to rescind, and then it shouldn't be rescinded, it should be amended. Because we're gonna have a problem later on with this.
Well, thank you, Juan.
Not gonna be done here.
Thank you, Juan. I think I'd like to continue with my understanding of what Mr. Hennick said. And if it's wrong, we'll just have to not do it. Okay. Did I have a second on that?
Come back.
Yeah?
Yes, I
Okay.
seconded it. I
Oh, that's right,
seconded it.
Ann. Thank you, you did. Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll take the vote again in the same order. Mary Ellen?
You did have a hand for discussion, Rose.
Oh, I did, I'm sorry. Who put it up?
I-
Oh, Mark, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I had just a question. So will we review these minutes and act on them again next month after they're amended?
I think that would make the most sense.
Okay. All right.
Any other discussion? All right, let's take the vote.
You, Rose, are we rescinding or are we amending? So there's a difference in the terminology.
Yeah, I have only said rescind.
Okay. Because other people are saying amend it.
We're going to rescind them now. And then I think Mark was referring to, we'll amend them and have them at the next meeting. In the meantime, though, we'll have to make sure that a copy of the votes. We're going to miss deadlines if we do this.
Why would we want to bring it to the next meeting? Why don't we just take care of this now?
Exactly. Let's get through this and move on. Come on, let's go.
All right, okay, I hear you. So this motion is to rescind the minutes that are currently at the town clerk's office.
That's all of them, right?
Okay, so
Item 3 is the issue, right? Paragraph 3.
No, you're
Yes.
talking about all of the minutes, right?
Not all of the minutes.
You're rescinding the minutes.
The minutes
have-
from this date,
No.
just the minutes from this date.
Uh-uh.
just the minutes from May 25th. But we can do that. We can vote to rescind them, vote for how we'd like the paragraph to read, and then vote to accept those minutes, and it all can happen on the same day.
Right.
Okay, so let's get through the one to rescind. Mary Ellen,
Yes.
Russ,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Ann,
Yes,
Diane,
Yes.
Matthew? I. Matthew, you want to vote on, it's still coming across staticky. You want to vote on chat, Matthew? And Juan?
No,
Okay. This is an interesting, Matthew, yeah, Matthew abstains. Okay, the motion carries 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 yes, 1 no, and 1 abstention. Okay, let's now talk about how to replace how to replace that paragraph. I would suggest that we, I would suggest that we say, leave in on behalf of her family. And when we get to the semicolon, say Dana expressed, oh, it doesn't say she's expressing disappointment. I thought that's what I heard.
I think
Can't
we
we
have to
just
go
take
back
the
to,
word slander out?
no, we have to go back to where it was stated, whatever she said in the last meeting on the recording.
Okay. I do want to say, especially for the future, that we should not have such a long statement written for audience, for citizens and staff. That isn't really appropriate. She criticized the superintendent for Mr. Areola with false and thinly veiled allegations during, yeah, I have trouble with just removing the word slandering.
Couldn't we just say for his comments during Mr. Caruso's presentation?
I like that.
That would work.
Okay.
I'd like to say something about that.
Okay.
I did go back and listen because I had concerns about that. And it was an assumption that Dr. Ola said anything about Juan. He didn't. And Russ asked if someone from the board had gone into the school and pushed their weight around. And Nick Caruso sort of said, this is a discussion for another time. There was no mention on the recording by Frank of what any board member did in Hampton Elementary School. What he was talking about, he said, we have no individual power, but collective power during board meetings. And so then Russ said, are you talking about someone on the board? That was not answered. And then Juan said, we know who you're talking about. And there was never a statement by him. So I'm concerned that we say that he's made any comments at all about Juan, because he didn't. There was an assumption.
I agree.
can I answer that, Rose?
You may give your opinion.
Thank you. I'll give my opinion. And what I heard that night, I was, since I can't use the word slander, but I was, since I'm the person that actually, it was all about a substitute teacher whose husband is on the board, who basically threw me out of the building. And you contacted the lawyers, contacted you, contacted the superintendent. It's me. It's not somebody doing a happenstance. I went through it. I lived it. I was banned from the building for a while. I was told that wasn't following procedure. That person, all that person had to do was step out of that classroom and tell me, Mr. Ariola, did you know you can't be here?
Well,
It was
well, I'm
that
sorry, you
simple,
don't know all
rather
the
than
facts on
making
this. I
racial
apologize,
remarks
but you
about
don't.
me or
This- you're-
saying
you're-
that my
This is
my
ridiculous.
presence scared them. Thank you.
Okay, it's funny because when I heard the comment, Dr. Ola,
Funny. It was never funny.
excuse me, it's odd because when I heard the comment, I went that night that Dr. Ola made, I thought of an incident where a board member told the principal she would not have a job after July 1st. Now you want to tell me you're involved in that, then that might be different.
First of all, I never said that to the principal because I basically don't speak to her.
Well, one, that's why
And I
I'm
don't speak
saying,
to a lot of people, and some of you on the board, I don't speak to. I avoid as much as I can because I know what kind of treatment I'm going to get after I speak to them.
well, the
Because
thing
there's
is,
a lot of
Juan,
racism involved here, and you guys are all white and you don't see it.
so my point is what Dr. Ola said is not clearly about you because I thought of a different incident. It was vague enough that did not one incident popped up in everybody's mind. Now, I think we should move on and get our vote in. But how should we phrase it? I think maybe the easiest thing to do would be to say, Dana McDermott, Ariola, thank the staff of the Hampton Elementary School for support during the difficult time and commented on Dr. Ola's statement during Nick Caruso's presentation. Does that work?
I'll move that we accept the moments with the amendment as recommended by the chair.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Excuse me, any discussion?
I think the first sentence of that statement, the motion is accept the minutes instead of moments.
Oh, did I say moments? I'm sorry. Thank you for catching that.
Welcome.
Okay. Dana, will you read back the motion as you have it, please?
Can you hear me? Because I don't see us here. We've been removed.
No, you're there. I hear you. I
And not
see.
on ours.
Well, I'm sorry, but I see you. I see what is there anyone who doesn't hear Dana?
No, we can hear. I can hear.
When I go through, we're no longer here.
You're here,
You're
Okay,
here.
but I'm telling you, I see everybody else but us. I know.
but go on.
No, I
listen.
did. So you're asking me, what are you asking me? Did I record that?
No, I'm asking you if you could read back the motion.
I don't have it recorded, Rose, because I quit. I am not going to I am not going to disrespect anybody who takes the time to come to the board to not characterize what they said just because the board members don't like it. I didn't use the word slander that night, but he was slandered. He was accused of harassment and intimidation. They are crimes under the penal code. He was not arrested or charged with either. And just because he's brown, he's not so stupid as to not know what this is about and to not know that it was him who is being spoken about.
Dana, you're out of order.
Oh, I am. We have
Go on.
reams of emails about this very subject, and we're going to have to go to a lawyer now and get it all put down and do it that way instead of the easy way, which was just to say to Juan, you can't walk your little 4-year-old grandson down the hallway when nobody else is there to take him down and he's a little late.
Dana,
And
you're
none
out
of it
of
would
order.
have happened. I don't have it written down. I can't read it back to you. I quit. Good night.
Good night. Matthew, will you please take the minutes? Thank you. Okay, so let's repeat the motion so that we know what the motion was.
The motion was to accept the minutes of May 25th with the amendments as recommended by the chair.
Can I
Okay,
read them? No.
To remove for slandering Mr. Ola with false and thinly veiled allegations during Mr. Caruso's presentation. For his comments during Mr. Caruso's presentation. And item
Okay.
3.
thank you.
But Mark, I wrote down what Rose said. It was after the semicolon to have it read and commented on Dr. O's statement during Nick Caruso's presentation.
Okay,
I think either one works, but
yeah, they were both close.
I just want to say what she said, that's all.
Thank you. Any discussion?
No.
Hearing none, we will take a vote. Mary Ellen,
Yes.
Russ,
Abstain.
Mark,
yes,
David,
Yes.
Anne,
Yes.
Diane,
I'll abstain.
Matthew? Yes. Juan?
No,
No. Okay, the motion carries 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yeses, 1 no, and 2 abstentions. 5, 6, 7. Okay. We'll move on to superintendent's report.
As I wrote in my report, various issues have come up in terms of the arsenic tank and its costs. It'll be done June 30th. It does not impact in any way the quality of the water. Basically, what it does is the water goes through a medium that's in these large tanks, and the medium that's in there chemically removes arsenic. The arsenic then clings itself to the medium. The water goes up and out into the system, this is required by Department of Public Health. We have 2 of these tanks, and they're done every 2 years. So one tank number 1 was done 2 years ago, 1 year ago. Tank number 2 is this year, so the following year would be tank number 1. The problem is the $13,890 or thereabouts cost is because the medium is now hazardous waste because it has arsenic in it, and it has to be removed and put into a hazardous waste dump. And then the new medium goes in there. Then we had another issue with the playscape. The 2 playscapes were supposed to be delivered on the 13th, but because of the construction, the truckers determined that it was not appropriate for them to go into that area. And so it'll be, the 2 playscapes will be delivered at some other point, but it doesn't have to be before June 30th because the funding is through ESSER fundings, and it doesn't have our own town funds attached to it. I then spent this morning at the oil consortium, which I said that I would report on to you. And right now, if you buy bulk oil, heating oil, it's $4.88 in bulk. And it was discussed that there are a number of issues, one of which is obviously the war in Ukraine, where Russian oil is no longer accepted in Europe. And so Europe has to have its natural gas, a liquefied petroleum, as well as its oil pulled in by other places. So, the United States, Saudi Arabia, wherever. So that's one problem. The second problem is that heating oil itself is in low supply because the refineries have moved into creating gasoline for the travel session. So they take down the production of heating oil. So the lack of heating oil is also causing the price hike. And then they have to take oil and replenish the national oil reserve that was used to supplement oil before they could get more oil being pumped out of Canada. So those, I forget what the fourth one was. Anyway, the bottom line is that the oil is just too expensive and no one wants to commit to buying, 50, 60,000 gallons of oil at those prices. So we will meet again just before the start of school in September because the year starts September 1 in terms of oil purchasing. So that now means that we have created a situation where we're pushing it off as much as we can. The theory is that the prices will come down the longer you go out into the future. So does anybody have any questions on my report? Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry, did someone whisper at me or at someone else?
No, it's me. I'm sorry. This is Ann.
Oh, okay.
My meds
Oh,
being
okay.
delivered.
We'll move on to the principal's report. Ms. Roberson?
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
So we're busy finishing up all the end of the year state reports and making a plan for organizing the cleaning of the building for the summer. I hope that everybody got the notice that one of our students won the EE Environmental Writing first place for the state award. I think Dr. Ola sent that out to everyone. So congratulations to Rachel McGuire. It's her second time winning. I personally am continuing to work on NIAC. Also sending home notices to parents and working on a parent survey. I hope to get to them early next week. Goodwin is opening up some activities for the students throughout the summer. So I want to also, I'll probably send that out early tomorrow morning, or depending on how late we get done tonight. Shelley would talk to you a little bit about some of our plans for summer school. I did have the people come out and look at the PA system. So I haven't gotten the results back, but they're going to be making recommendations for that. And we're looking at some possibilities for hiring another art teacher. And I think that's about it.
Does anyone have any questions?
I do.
Who said that?
One,
Oh, one. Yes?
how are the kids who attend summer school actually chosen? What's the process?
We initially divided them into age appropriate groups for different activities. And when our interest level was low, we expanded the support of the group so that we could open up the activities for more students with a broader age range. So I have 2 paras coming so that younger students can come and they'll be supported. The teacher won't have to have as much of a range. So part of it is initially was this was appropriate for certain an age range. And then when the numbers were low, we re-looked at that and modified and said, let's get some more support so that we can offer this to more kids.
Okay, but I still didn't get the answer. How are these kids picked to attend summer school?
They're picked by their age for each activity, you mean? It's different activity.
No, I'm talking to just attend the program. Are they academically behind?
No, it's open to everyone.
Okay, because the flyer I got from the school didn't actually clarify any of that. It was just, there was going to be summer school and there was going to be running this time, but it didn't actually say that it was open for any kids who wanted to attend summer school.
So do you know a child who wants to attend one?
Well, I think some parents might want to send their kids there so they can go to work and at least they know where their child is and is learning something in the process. I don't think any kid actually wants to go to summer school. There are those kids who do though.
I used to love it.
Yeah. We reached out and the ones that showed an interest, those are the people that we expanded for. They might have shown an interest for one topic, like the gardening or the environmental studies. And those are the ones that I reached out to and said, well, if they're interested in that, what's the chance that they want to, or that you want them to be interested in doing one of the other activities? So, because everyone got the notices, but I'm hearing what
I
you're
was just, yeah, I was going to add into what we were talking about because you and I are talking about sending another email blast anyway about the other opportunities to adjust it.
right, and we're trying to add some more things to it. So,
so let me, I guess I'll share that part of it so that everyone knows what's going on. So, I've been in contact with Val, the superintendent over at Scotland. She and I even have spoken several times over the course of the last few months regarding what they're doing for their summer programming and ESY and ESSER fund opportunities for other grants. And so there was a grant that I had written with her guidance to support another program for Hampton Elementary School. But again, we have such low interest in the number of students who want to come to our program. So we're concerned about being able to find the staff to be able to do this program. That said, however, Val has offered and opened it up to allow any Hampton kids who would like to go to her program there. So my grant can pay for the transportation for Scotland. So we have other opportunities, and Sam and I were going to send out a blast. We got to get all our details together first between what Val is offering and making sure that it's accurate and complete. And so Sam and I will be sending another blast out to parents about the other summer opportunities that are for both regular ed students and special ed students and anyone who's behind. The activities include, working on their reading and creating books from learning different vocabulary words and doing some artwork related to the books that they're reading, and then doing some math fun labs. So it's making learning fun for the summer months for our kids.
Thank you, Mrs. McNulty. You answered my question.
Yeah, so we'll be sending that out soon. Sam and I just need to find out from Val what exactly when her dates are and her time and everything, along with what Sam's doing, and making sure that we're not redundant and that we're making sense for the parents who are, who may access these supports. Sam, I don't mean to take over your your space, your time. Do you have anything further you wanted to report on?
No, that everyone's got to see us in action. This is how we operate as a team. And no, thanks for jumping in.
Absolutely. So, and Sam is right. She and I work very well as a team, administrative team. In fact, I don't know if you had a chance to read my update, but we had run professional learning for the staff June 13th and 14th. And, I'm, new to the district, been here for about 6-7 months now. And while I know the staff, I haven't been able to see them all together. Of course, part of it is COVID, part of it is my being only in the district one day a week, that kind of thing. But it was really, really neat. The activities that we did and the process and the professional learning we focused on was really trying to get back together and talk about what we learned through COVID, what worked, what didn't work, look at our data, what are we using for data, because all of that had changed in the last 2 or 3 years with COVID. And so we're adjusting what we've learned. We are cleaning up some of our processes. We were able to collaborate and make really good plans for the upcoming school year. And that said, Sam and I also have great plans for continued professional learning that will happen through staff meetings as well. And addressing some of that stuff, some of what I talked about last week or last month, which was we were talking about the least restrictive environment. And so all of this is about looking at child find. How are we identifying those students who need support? And are we giving them the appropriate supports before referring them to special education? Are we sure we're giving them the right support? Are we documenting what that support looks like? Are we being clear on what our goals are for the students? Are the goals realistic? All those kinds of things. So talking to the whole staff and having them all be on the same page. So it's not just the special ed staff who are thinking about this, but the regular ed, gen ed staff who are thinking about this as they're seeing, this student or that student falling a little bit further behind, making sure we're using all the opportunities that we have for them. So it was, I have to tell you, I think it was, first of all, the process of how we did the training, we did it with EastCon with David, and first of all, he's excellent, and I'm so excited that we're going to continue to have him working and supporting us. But beyond that, the staff you have are so supportive of each other. I can't tell you how much positive interaction between all of them and how they were excited about what's happening in each other's classrooms. So it's just, you guys really have a great team here. Like, I just can't say enough good things about Hampton Elementary School. So, any questions?
I'd just like to say thank you very much, Sam and Shelley, for your input and your support.
Thank you. And I gotta
Thumbs
say,
up.
like, coming new here, Sam Sam and Frank have just guided me through everything. And Sally and I've been talking, like, just everybody, and even being part of these board meetings is just so helpful. And I have to tell you, I appreciate the district. So just wanted to say that.
Thank you also. I always appreciate everyone's insight and input. I think as a team, we make things better for our students.
Thank both of you. Are you both done with your reports now? Did you both
I have a
say?
question.
Okay, let me just get this. Did you both say everything that you meant to say when you thought about your report to the board this evening?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Mary Ellen?
Yeah, I think most of the questions I had about the reports were answered. I appreciate the topics of professional development being covered. One thing that I wonder about, Shelley, you said that you're going to continue with David. Is there a contract in place for example, for iReady or any other professional development to continue next year?
That's, the short answer is yes. We're working on a
Okay.
contract.
Thank
So,
you.
So we've identified days that David will be coming and in supporting us. We already have his calendar, and now looking at how we're going to utilize him and what the topics are that when he's there. So he's already planned for our staff development days when it was appropriate, and then we also have him incorporated into our some of the processes that we talked about in our professional learning last week.
Great, thank you.
So who is Dave?
It's David House. He is his role is as a professional development leader in EastCon, and so he supports several different districts in how they're in providing the professional learning for the staff specific to what the needs are in each different district. So he's really able to tailor what our needs are because that's his role at EastCon. So it's been great to have him there.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll move on to our business coordinators report. Mrs. LaHoo.
Good evening, everyone. I did send out a written report, and if anyone has questions, I am here to answer them.
Did anyone
I
have
have
a
a question.
Yes,
I
Mary
do.
Ellen?
I know you sent out the categories of how we spent our ESSER funds, but is there a way to give us the amount that was in each of the categories in the report and how
Sure.
much money is still, how much was spent on those things and how much is still left?
Yes, so our ESSER 1 funds, we had $13,195, and those monies were reported in last year's report. Those all went to addressing the physical health and safety. That was all housekeeping, our sanitizing for COVID. Our ESSER 2 and ESSER 2 state set aside, that's $50,962. And 100% of those funds are going towards meeting students' academic, social, emotional, and other needs. Our ESSER 3 funds are $114,528. And do I have the numbers quickly here? That's split between physical health and safety, meeting students' academic needs, and other continuity and other. And the other there is the playscape. Do I have numbers here? Without taking up your time, I will certainly email that to you tomorrow, if you don't mind.
Sure, that's good. Is there anything left also?
Oh, yes, we haven't, yes, we have quite a bit left. So this report was reporting on last year's spending. So right at this moment in time, we do still have more carrying into next year for summer school. We haven't paid for a playscape yet. We have some after school clubs next year. So yes, we have quite a bit left right now. So I can certainly put that together for the next meeting if you'd like. So then I'll have the June 30th numbers and we can look at what we have for next year. Does that sound like a plan?
Yep,
Sounds good.
good.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. And we'll move on to committee and, oh, no, discussion concerning the hiring process for the superintendent. So as of today, we have two resumes, two applicants, and another person who told me she wants to apply but hasn't yet. And they're both experienced people. And they sound like on paper they make good candidates. So I'd like to just suggest a process and we can discuss it and change. I'm not, married to this process, but just as a draft to start with. If we only have 3 applicants, we might as well interview all 3. I don't think we need to meet and look at resumes, although we could meet ahead of time and look at them. But I'd like to suggest we have a committee comprised of at least 1 board member and then school members and community members. So 1 parent, 1 teacher, possibly a paraprofessional, the nurse. We would invite these people. This is the summer. They don't have to come, but I want to give them the possibility. And then anyone else that we think should be on the committee to do a first interview. And then anyone they find acceptable. If someone is truly unacceptable, maybe don't send them on, but send the rest on to a board level committee, not committee, a board level meeting. We would do it in executive session, and then the board could make the final decision. How does that sound to people?
Can I just say this about that? I understand the process and everything you're going through, but Frank, when is your last day?
By contract, it would be the 30th of June. But
June
because I
30th.
had to give you 90 days notice, it goes through July 28th.
I would just like to say that it would be nice to have somebody on board that could do a transition with Frank. You know,
I would hope that would be the case.
hopefully you can make that happen. You know, Rose, I'm looking at you.
Yeah, we can have meetings next week.
Try to get somebody hired so the new person can spend a little time with Frank.
Yeah, we'd have to look at the budget.
Transition. You know?
Yeah, we'd have to determine budget-wise how to do that, but we certainly can.
I have a question, Rose.
Yes, Diane?
Is the superintendent in Scotland interested in joining us or no? I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Is it okay? I could share that I spoke with her.
No, thank you.
And she is also.
No,
the
thank you.
superintendent Of Andover.
What's that?
She's
Oh.
also, she's a superintendent in another district as well. So she has two districts right now. So she's not interested.
She's not interested? You know, it's the problem is I don't know how much to say in a public meeting. I had heard that possibly she was. She has not yet applied. Does that answer your question, Diane?
Yes, because I heard the same thing,
Yes.
that she was interested. But I
Yeah.
didn't know if that was just hearsay, you know?
Yeah, I don't know how you heard it. I heard it through non-hearsay though. But she hasn't applied, so that she's not currently one of the candidates that we would be interviewing.
Right.
I'd like to, this is Anne, I'd like to suggest that we be very careful about the quality of our communication. There's not any criticism as part of my comment, but I think that, you know, in a small district, without naming people, it's possible to communicate. And as we're illustrating based on our different versions of reality to this evening, that people are not always going to agree. So I just suggest that we be very careful about maintaining confidentiality in the process.
I
Thank
don't
you.
think that was any problem that was talked about tonight, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, it's a general statement. I could make that statement when any committee is launching its initiative. So it's not intended as criticism, it's just a sort of FYI it's our responsibility to be careful about confidentiality. Which doesn't mean that we can't speak. It just means that we have to think about the consequences of what we're saying.
Right, but there was no names mentioned, so.
No, I know, and I'm not implying otherwise.
So let's get back to the process. Does that two-step process work for people?
Yeah, Rose, that sounded reasonable.
Okay,
Yeah, and I think getting community input is vital. I really appreciate your going to some effort to do that.
I'd just like to say one more time, my feeling is time is of the essence. Like to see somebody on board to do a changeover transition with Frank. He's got a lot that he does that nobody really knows what he's doing. So if he leaves and they hire a new one, it's gonna be tough. I'd like to make for a smooth transition.
okay, Dave, thank you. I'm hearing that you're saying that we should not dilly-dally, we should get someone on board so they can meet with Frank and have a smooth transition.
You
Thank
got
you.
it.
Thank you.
I agree.
Okay.
Rose,
Yes, yes,
I
Warren.
have a question. What districts are these people from, or where did they work? And I'm assuming they're retired. And how many years have they been superintendents?
I can't answer those questions because off the top of my head, I don't know the information. I'm not sure you should assume they're retired, although they may be. But certainly when it comes to, we're going to do the committees meetings, you'll have all that information.
Also, are they male or female?
The two applicants that we have so far are female.
Thank you.
If anyone knows of a male who would like to apply, please let me know. We did have a male construction superintendent apply, which made me realize we weren't clear enough in our posting. Yeah, I felt bad. Poor guy, all the way from the Bronx. So I'll set up meetings. Will people be? Okay, so I'm thinking here. I guess we have to aim for the first week in July for the interviews because hoping to give people enough time, so we got a lot of people. I left it to June 30th as their deadline. But if we set up some interviews for, say, July 6th with the community group, and then, 1 minute, I'm trying to get my calendar up. And then maybe July 7th. Oh. July 7th in the morning, maybe for the board, would that be possible? This will all be an executive session.
Works for me.
Okay. Does it
Yes.
works for you, Russ?
I don't have any problems with that at this point.
It doesn't work for Mark though, does it, Mark?
No, it won't work for me. I'm out of state.
Well, you want to do 7? Oh, so it won't work for you at all. As far-
When is the 7th? What day of the week is that?
It's Thursday.
Yeah, I'm on the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, at least.
Can we Zoom? Can you Zoom?
No, not where I'm gonna be, no.
Okay.
You can have the meeting without me. I mean, I trust your judgments.
Okay, would that be better than going to like Monday, the 11th? I can't do that at night, though. Tuesday, the 12th, would it be better if we did that and had Mark here?
Could we do Monday, like at 5:30?
Monday the what?
11th?
Monday the 11th at 5:30.
You think we'd be done by 7?
Yeah, I think so. I'm wondering, are we going to meet in person?
Yeah, I was planning on meeting in person.
Okay.
I could probably even do 5 o'clock. I'm not sure if anybody else could do that early, though.
I don't think I'd make my next meeting in time is the problem. That early. Unless you think it, well, see, I haven't met the candidates. I don't know if it'll be close or. I'd feel better going to the Tuesday if we could. And Tuesday, I could make it at 5. Oh, no, I can't.
I have a commitment on Tuesday.
Okay. I could do Wednesday or Thursday. Can people do Wednesday, the 13th, or Thursday, the 14th?
Yes.
I could do those days.
Okay, Russ, could you do those days if we met at 5?
At this stage in my life, I'd say yes, but things do change, but I will give it my best effort.
5. Okay, how about you? Ann, do you think you could make that?
I can make every effort to do that.
Okay, Diane?
Yep. Yes,
Juan, could you make that?
14th, no.
How about the 13th?
I have to look at my calendar. and
That's the Wednesday.
No, we got something. We got something else going on. Sorry.
Okay, Mark, I think we'll have to go to the 7th.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I'm assuming everyone else can make the 7th because nobody told me no.
What
All right.
time?
5 o'clock? Oh, well, we could go earlier if Mark isn't going to come.
can have it during the day.
Yeah,
Is this gonna be a live meeting?
a live meeting, I think so.
Location?
The elementary school?
Okay. I'm good.
Pavilion,
I'm good.
community room.
No, the elementary school. Then we'll do it in the
Are
building they'll be working in.
are they done with the parking lot and stuff, or?
Paving lot. Is that gonna be done? The paving should be done, right?
Yeah, that'll be done.
Yeah. Yeah. We could try for 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock on the 7th
Yeah.
works for me.
Is there anyone who cannot do the 10 o'clock on the 7th? Other than Mark? Hearing none.
Matt was chatting that he cannot.
Oh, Matt is unavailable during the day. You're right. I knew that, Matt. I'm sorry. Well, I could do the evening on the 7th. Could other people do the evening on the 7th?
Yep.
Yes.
All right, let's aim for that at 5 o'clock. I'm assuming the applicants can. Usually, if someone really wants a job, they can, but if someone cannot, I'll send out an email. Okay. Now we can move on to the committees and liaison reports. We'll start with the communication. I'm
I
sorry.
don't know if you can hear me, but I've got nothing to report.
Oh, okay, thank you, Matthew. Nothing to report, Matthew wrote. Finance and operations.
Yeah, sorry. Let's see, we met yesterday. The big thing right now that's going on is the paving. There were some delays because of the asphalt plant, but they should be back on track later this week or first thing next week to get it wrapped up. So that'll be that. Dr. Ola in his report already talked the arsenic tank and the playgrounds. The other big thing that we've been really doing, and give kudos to Mary Ellen, is digging into what we can do with mini splits for the classrooms. So we've talked to 2 different companies that have given us an idea of what equipment we would need for the mini splits part of it. But we are digging into what would be required for the electrical aspect of things there, or what infrastructure we have within the school that could possibly be used for that. So, so it's, that's kind of where we're at. So there's more investigating there. And we are possibly, we have like kind of, like I said, 2 companies that have given us kind of an equipment list that they could install, but we'd end up having to get a 3rd for that. And then we probably are going to be researching like 3 separate electrical, electricians to also give us quotes on that element of it. And all of this, and our goal is to save fuel costs. Basically, those mini splits are very efficient and they could reduce our oil consumption in the school and or public building. I'll put it that way. I think that's it. That's about all we talked about.
Great, thank you. Okay, policies.
Policies, we're anticipating getting some work done over the summer. And my understanding, Diane, forgive me if I've got this wrong, but my understanding was that you were going to pick up the handouts that were mailed from CABE to the Hampton Elementary School.
I did.
Great, thank you very much for doing that. So we have our work cut out for us. And as you're aware, some of the policy implications for changing practices, specifically mask wearing and that sort of thing, has been a very fluid process, and that's a euphemism. It's been challenging, and but we have some overarching policy statements that have hopefully protected us during this time of flux. So anyway, I'm anticipating getting some work done over the summer with the support of the team.
Thank you.
Questions about that? Thank you.
Ad hoc job description subcommittee. So we set up a meeting for July 7th in the morning. I put Monday, July 7th, but it's Thursday, July 7th. And that will be our first meeting. And then we have ad hoc minority recruitment and retention committee. And we set up a meeting, 1 minute, on I'll laugh if that's also the 7th. The 5th, July 5th at 1 o'clock. And that will be our first meeting. On to ad hoc superintendent's evaluation subcommittee. That committee, I don't believe, has met. I haven't seen an agenda. Now on to CABE.
CABE. Well, the last time I reported on CABE's progress, I had indicated that the executive director position has been filled with Patrice McCarthy, who is a long-term leader at CABE. And last night, there was a retirement event, which I was not in attendance, except in spirit, a retirement event for Bob Rader, who has served in that capacity of executive director for many years. And by report, the event went very well. So work continues at CAPE across fronts, including diversity.
Great.
Questions?
Thank you, Ann.
Thank you.
EastCon.
Yeah, we had our meeting last night and I emailed people at the board a link to work on trauma and its implications for learning because it was easier than trying to explain it. We're in the process of hiring an executive director and hope to have that completed by July 1. And then we voted on a contract for instructors, which is a position between paras and certified teachers, which took 2 years in the making. So that was done yesterday. And that's it.
Great, thank you. Non-BOE meeting of the Hampton, Scotland Cost Saving Committee. So the programming committee is wrapping up. It should only be a few more meetings. And the full committee needs to meet to discuss how and when to have the presentations to the towns and then have the non-binding referendum. And we're having trouble finding dates. That happens a lot in the summer. Does anyone else have anything to add to that?
Well, I commend you on your involvement in the process. It's a very important position.
Thank you. Juan is also involved in the process. He's on both the committees that are working now. Additions to the agenda. Do we have any? I'm not dilly-dallying over that.
We didn't vote on May 10th minutes, but we could do that in July.
Okay. May 10th. All right. Frank, can you remember that? We need to vote on the May 10th meetings minutes.
Yeah, I'll put it on the agenda.
Thank you. Okay, next agenda planning. If anyone thinks of something they'd like to see on the agenda, please contact either Frank or me. Audience for citizens and staff.
I have something I'd like to say.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the bigger problem is not the word slander, but the fact that your superintendent publicly slandered a board member. If you listen to the recording, I believe you'll hear the accusations: threatening, intimidation, and harassment. And you can look those words up in the statute and you'll find them all listed as crimes under the penal code. And you can ask your attorney what the definition of slander and libel is, and he will tell you that it is accusing someone of crimes they didn't commit. And you can call the Danielson Police Barracks and you'll see that Juan Arriola hasn't been arrested or convicted of any of those crimes. I think it's time, we have a written record of what transpired, and I think it's time to bring that forth so that we can clear Mr. Arriola's name and we can clear up any other confusions. That written record, of course, as you just stated, will not make it into the record of your minutes, but there are other ways that we can make things public. And I think it's, the timing's very bad, but I think these things have to be made public. Thank you.
So I'd like to make a comment. This is Anne. I happen to have been at the meeting that was referred to, and the statement was made by, I don't even remember who it was made by, that of course we all know who is being referred, who's being discussed, who's the implications. And I admittedly have been marginal because of my health-related concerns. So from my vantage point, I had no idea who was being referred to. And I just want to have that be on the record, that I don't think it was that obvious to everybody present. who was being referred to in the statement that was made.
Juan
Okay,
Ariola, I'd like to respond to that. And of course you don't know. You don't get out very often, and we know why, but you'll be able to read about it next month. Thank you.
any other comments from citizens or staff? In that case, oh,
Oh,
Kathy,
Kathy.
I'm sorry, Kathy.
Kathy's got her
Even
hand up.
have your hand up, yeah.
I have both hands up.
Uh-huh.
A couple of things. One was on the building things, the intercom system that you're looking into, like different alternatives and Wi-Fi. Is that still happening as far as the intercom system within the building? That wasn't working. The other was professional development. Frank, I thought that due to some of the insensitivity issues that had been raised, that there was going to be some professional development with the staff to address that. And the other thing is that I've been CC'd on several conversations about superintendent, but one of them was from Cassidy, and the two boards are already discussing this topic and will keep you informed. So have there been discussions with the Scotland Elementary School, Rose? Because I haven't heard any discussions at this board level. Have you been discussing sharing a superintendent with this?
Cassidy and I talked about that Valerie might want to apply, and I encouraged her to apply.
Oh, okay, thank you. As far as the intercom system, is there any updates on that at all? Mark, I didn't know whether that was still being looked into.
Yeah, we did talk about that yesterday at the meeting. So basically, we have a company coming in that's just gonna review the, I'll say control board that we currently have, because all the wiring is in place and we have the speakers. And so if we're able to just repair that board, we don't necessarily have to go to a wireless system. So that's kind of option A. And then if we can't, and we need to, integrate a new system and or somehow use some of the equipment from our current system and morph it into a new system, then we would investigate, a wireless option as far as that goes to save us some cost for installation and stuff like that. Option A is just to try to resurrect what we have.
Okay, and then professional development wise, Frank, have you done any professional development or have any plan for the issues that were raised about concerns for some of the staff members there?
Well, we're going to have two people attend the Woodside Academy's awareness of racial inequity, and how that affects students in their learning. And that's the 28th, 29th, and 30th of this month.
Yeah, I thought the concern that had been raised was about a staff member though, and that there was going to be something done with the staff members as a whole. So nothing's been done about that.
I'm not sure what you're referring to, but the whole, as Shelley told you, the staff met for PD on the 13th and 14th and seemed to be very cohesive. If you're talking about a specific staff member, I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to.
May I just add in here that this is what the Committee for Minority Recruitment and Retention will be discussing.
Okay. And when is that one, Rose? I have the 7th for the other meetings. When is the minority recruitment and retention meeting? I'm sorry, I didn't write that one down.
I have to look that up.
That was the 5th.
The 5th, thank you.
At what time?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock at the school.
And that's going to be in person at the school?
Yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
I'm just going to add real quick that part of my professional learning for next year that I'm planning with the staff is about inclusion, and it will touch on racial issues as well, different, and that kind of stuff. So just wanted to let you know that that will be part of what I do with the staff.
Thank you.
Okay. Any further audience for citizens and staff?
Mark.
Yes, Mark?
All right, begrudgingly, I just want to state that, my wife has been subject to her own type of bullying here, but she has done a tremendous job at the school. Her and I have spent countless hours supporting the school over the last 10 years. She's beloved by almost all the kids at the school. She's never done anything wrong, ever. She's so kind and caring about everybody, no matter skin color, race, background, heritage, or whatever. From the PTO standpoint, she's run the whole thing by herself for years. And we put in thousands of dollars of our own money supporting this school. And to be slandered ourselves and trying to be held accountable for things that people only know half the facts on and are doing things that are completely inappropriate, I think that's unacceptable. And I'll continue to support the school because I support the school, and that's why I'm on this board, to support the kids and support the school. But I think it's shameful that people are not taking accountability for themselves. I was held accountable a couple of years ago when the F&O meeting the Board of Finance meeting, I spoke out, and I was quickly censured by other board members for what I said. So if they can't take responsibility for their actions, that's too bad. But I understand that I took consequences for my actions, and it was part of the what you do. But you don't go attacking other people for no good reasons when you only know half the facts, especially people that have done a tremendous amount for this community and for this school. So, thank you.
Mark, I commend you on all your contributions, but you were not the one that was attacked. You were not the one that had a lawyer called on them. You were not the one that people were frightened of. Now, I've lived in my skin long enough to know when there's a problem. Believe me, I go into a place, I look for the side door so I can get out. So, you telling me about all these great commendations and great stuff and how the kids, yeah, right. But you're still missing a point. Those kids are all white kids, and there are a lot of other kids that could come and say things also. I'm not the only one, but we're going to clarify all of that in a timeline next month. So that way everybody knows, can make their own judgment. Thank you.
Thank you all for your input. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
No, you have to first it. Someone that needs to second it now.
Motion to.
I'd
I'll
like
sec-
to
I
make a
make-
comment. Can
Yeah,
I make a
Russ?
comment before we
Yes.
close? Yes, well, I think it's a
Well,
time for
and
us.
I'm getting concerned that the board is using audience for citizens as a time for discussion and
Okay, just forget it then.
Yeah, I
please.
agree.
thank you. So Russ made the motion, Diane seconded it. We'll do the roll call. Mary Ellen, this is to adjourn.
Yes.
Russ,
Yes.
David,
Yes, Rose.
Anne,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Diane,
Yes.
Juan,
Hallelujah, yes.
and Matthew. Is that last yes?
Yes,
one
that's
that-
a yes from Matthew.
Yes, here's
Yes,
another
yes.
yes. Okay. We are adjourning at 8:31 PM. Thank you all.
Good night.
Hang